Hi, everybody. Welcome to Unscripted and Unstoppable, the podcast for women over 50 who are ready to rise, to reinvent, and reclaim their voice in this next chapter of life. I'm your host, Laureen Quick, and this is a special edition of Unscripted and Unstoppable. Today's conversation is one I think every woman in a long-term relationship needs to hear. I am talking with Beatrix Fekete, my dear friend, collaborator, and relationship coach, about what men really feel when their partner begins to grow, change, or reclaim their truth. If you have ever worried that stepping into your power might create distance, or if you've wondered what your partner might be quietly hoping for, this episode is for you. Let's dive into what he wishes you knew, but might not say. Beatrix, welcome. First question right off the top of my head is, why might a man want his partner to attend something like the workshop, support him, empower you?
Very good question, because he will benefit from it too. What we're going to show a woman in this workshop is how to rediscover herself and come back home to her inner world, which can make her feel more grounded, clear, more confident, and more whole in the relationship. And that is when the shifts will happen. She'll learn how to express what she wants without blame or being controlling or trying to fix him. And she stops pouring from an empty cup, because we're helping her how to come back fully to herself and really fulfill herself as that identity, as that version of her. And that's when the connection can start to feel lighter, warmer as well. They can create a deeper connection in the relationship.
So Ben,
And this, sorry.
so men want deeper connections too.
Men will feel the connection too. Yes, absolutely. Yes, the woman shows up differently. And the way she shows up will be more grounded and safe and more connected, more understanding, with more compassion.
Wonderful.
That will influence the man as well. That will influence the whole relationship dynamic too.
And when you are working with your clients, and their spouses, their wives, their girlfriends, their lovers are working on themselves, do men ever talk to you about what their partner is going through, and how do they talk about that? Are they excited about it? Are they worried about it? What's going on for them when their partner begins doing deep personal work? Can you share a little bit?
Yes, sure. There's all sorts of things can be going on. It might be like they wouldn't say it out loud, or maybe they can't even put it into words, but they do feel it. Some might be anxious about it. Why is she doing that? Is she doing it without me? Is she changing it without me? Will I measure up? What will change? A little bit uncertainty comes in here, which is absolutely normal and natural. They might shut down or maybe joke about it, but not because they don't care, but because they don't really have the words for it. And when this type of work tends to happen, the number one thing they start to think is there's something wrong with me. And the question is always, so now what will be the result of this work? Will this bring us closer or create a distance?
Okay. So
Our intention is to bring more connection and more respect instead of resentment or control with the workshop, but also clarity. And sometimes I dare say that the truth or realizations, whatever direction it goes to, is always liberating.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay,
Yeah.
let's shift then.
Mm.
It seems to me then like men might be worried, they might be concerned. Are there things do you think there are things that they might be surprised about when a woman begins to claim her own voice and speak her truth?
Mhm. Yes, yes, absolutely. Especially the communication skills that we're going to show in the workshop.
Okay.
Because she might not have used those communication skills, but the reason why we show that to women who attend the workshop is that because the men will hear them. When they shift to that communication skill that we're going to show them, the men will hear them. And that's very important. Instead of shutting down or showing resentment or um, slipping up with communication, it will be clarity in communication. It will be openness in communication.
Great. Like after attending the workshop, you will have learned some tools as a way to communicate better with the man in your life. And he might find that a bit surprising that you actually can connect with him verbally through communication more than you ever have before because of these new skills that you have. And that
Mhm.
really brings me to another point that I want to have you expound upon or talk a little bit about. It really does become essential then, as you are shifting and growing as a woman, that you talk about this with your spouse, that you just don't
Mhm.
do it and say nothing, and let him react, right? You do want to have conversations with your partner around what you're going through and how you're changing and how is that changing the relationship. What
Mhm.
advice would you give a woman about that?
Definitely express and explain what's going on so the man has clarity. The man has a direction on what's going on and that gives can give him more safety or certainty. So just openly communicate why you're doing it, what's going through, what results you would like to create in the relationship, how it would affect him.
Good.
And the workshop is to show women those communication skills, but also to by rediscovering themselves, they bring more compassion to themselves. Therefore, they can bring more compassion and understanding to their partner as well. Because the man is going through changes as well in this chapter of their lives. And we have to shift. We have to shift, like we have to shift. And I think when the woman starts that shifts, shows some initiation, that will influence the man as well because he will experience positive things, new things, exciting things about her, about the relationship itself, and that will confirm that this is not a threat towards me. It's not about me being wrong or there is something wrong with me, but it's about creating something new together. That's
Beautiful.
how I see it because men might not be open to this work like straight away, but if they see that this work is beneficial for the woman herself
Uh-huh.
and the relationship, then the influence is inevitable. And I think that's how they can create something beautiful together.
And if a man is feeling like I'm, if he's feeling he's being blamed or he's being left behind, what should a woman do in this situation? How can she help him understand he's not?
Well, I would like to invite men to acknowledge that feeling. That could be a very valid feeling to feel blamed or left behind. And I would invite women to explain that this is not about leaving them behind or blaming. It's about entering a new chapter, entering something new and creating something exciting that they might not have experienced before. You mentioned something very important in the beginning. It was that woman wants more.
Mhm.
And if I explain that to the man, I would like to have more, not because you're not enough, but because I know that we have the capacity to create something more and different that we have been, because we've been filling in certain types of roles. Why not try something new in this time of our lives and create more excitement, new experiences? And the way to do it is maybe through learning the skills um, and the lessons from this workshop.
Well,
So
and
it's a gateway. It's a gateway to that. That's how I would say
one thing too that I think would be an advantage is you could always use the replay and go through the workshop with your spouse as well. So they could have a better understanding of the work that you're doing as a woman in a relationship. So that would be
it.
another idea to consider. It seems to me like what we're really talking about here today is when you stand in your own truth, when you speak your own voice, which you may or may not have been doing to any degree previously
Mhm.
in your relationship, because often we become silent. Um,
Mhm.
expect that there will be a reaction from your spouse, your partner, your lover. And then it's your obligation to draw that person in and say, let's have a conversation around this. And like you said, not talk about it in terms of blaming him because he's going to blame himself naturally, right? We all blame ourselves most often. So
Mhm.
finding ways to talk about how I want this relationship to grow into and evolve into a relationship that I just love and that we just
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you're a partner in that. So we need to have a conversation around where we're going, and how we each want to contribute to the relationship and how we can best work together, how we can best communicate together. So my last question I'm going to ask
Mhm.
today really is around how do you initiate that kind of conversation with someone? How would you approach that?
I would simply just say that this is what I'm thinking to experiment with. This is what I'm thinking to bring into our relationship. Whatever that is, maybe it's a new ritual, or I've learned these type of communication skills that I would like to implement in our relationship. Shall we have a daily catch up? What we want to bring in some healthy and safe ways of communication that is not about control, it's not about blame, it's about what are we creating together.
Hmm.
And it simply just starts with the woman as an individual because before we are in a relationship or we are a team, we are individuals in the relationship. And that's what she's doing, reconnecting to herself and also learning skills so that she can bring those skills into the relationship to create something new and better. And I would say the mindset behind it would be curiosity, experiment, make it interesting, make it colorful. Um, the bring in the what's more possible for us. We've achieved so much, maybe children, career, even grandkids. We've got all this, but there is still more. So let's discover that possibility. And I think that excitement can shift the whole the blame or we are in control or something is not working, but it's about, okay, what's more out there for us that we are creating together and supporting each other in this change of our lives. Because when she changes, she's more grounded, she has more clarity, she has better communication skills, maybe more compassion, understanding for herself as well, and for the men too. That will help the men in the new chapter as well, because he's going to change. And
Beautiful,
then this is how they influence
beautiful, absolutely. Well, that wraps today's conversation. I want to just thank everyone for listening today. And if you found yourself nodding along, feeling the potential for being seen and heard, or if you're just curious about what this kind of shift might look like in your own life, I do want to invite you to join us for our upcoming workshop, Support Him, Empower You, July 22nd. This is a workshop for women who are ready to stop disappearing in their relationships and start showing up as their full empowered selves. The workshop again takes place on July 22nd. It's online, and yes, there will be a replay that you can enjoy after the workshop, or if you can't make it, you've got that as a resource to do the workshop on your own time. You will find the link to register in the show notes. And as always, if this episode spoke to you, please leave us a review, share it with a friend that you think would also be interested in this message. Our goal is to help many women find our work and benefit from the process. So until next time, please, dear listeners, all of you stay bold and keep trusting your voice. Thank you.